Good morning, 1 million Cubs. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Looks like everybody's awake, yeah. Good morning, 1 million Cubs. Okay, that's a little bit better. If you need more coffee, there's a lot more back there. We're gonna get the show on the road. My name is John, I'm one of your organizers. We've got Billy, Tyler. Somebody put Courtney in the corner. I didn't think anybody put Courtney in the corner, but hi, Courtney. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple presentations today. You'll have a chance to ask questions, provide feedback. Speaking of, we have our expert panel over here. I'd like to introduce you guys first, so if you would.
Good morning. My name is Matt Danzler. I'm the Vice President of Sales with Illumisoft, and we do software development for internal and external projects.
Morning, I'm Joe Paiva. I am involved in GeoLearn, which is a company that reinvents how online education is done.
Thank you for being here. Do we have any first-timers at 1 Million Cups today? Show of hands. We've got several. Well, thank you for being here. We also have a couple groups. We have a Cup of Joe from St. Joe, so thank you for being here. And we also have a group from Global Ties. Show of hands. Anyone? Anyone? Got a few. Thank you for being here. Also, if you have a chance, please download the 1 Million Cups app. Check in. You'll be able to provide feedback to the presenters, which is a very, very valuable part of what we do here. So without further ado, we are actually one more thing. The 1 Million Cups 6-year anniversary, we're going to have a celebration on May 2nd. So we hope to see all of you here. And with that, we're going to introduce Lawrence with Golf Swapper. Big round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lawrence Buck, and I'm with a company called Golf Swapper. Go through a quick slide deck with all of you guys. So what is Golf Swapper? Golf Swapper basically is just an online marketplace for golfers and golf retailers, kind of a centralized location for them to buy and sell their goods, either new or used. Our initial concept was actually devised in 2016. Went through a couple different iterations, different platforms, different ideas, trying to refine our business. And then we founded it in 2017 as a Missouri corporation and started on the iteration that you see today. It consists of 5 full and part-time people, and the concept is solely to provide services for the golf marketplace vertical. So who is Golf Swapper? There are currently 3 main executive members and an advisor. We'll start off with Devin Cunningham. He's the founder and the director of marketing. He's kind of our sales guru, social media guru, whatnot. He's the guy that probably should be here speaking instead of me, but he couldn't make it. And then there's myself. I'm founder and CEO. I'm an enterprise architect by trade. I design large-scale solutions for very large enterprises such as Hewlett-Packard, Apache, Xerox, things like that. I've been doing it for a long, long time. And then there's AJ Johnston sitting over there. He's a director of technology. He's kind of a super geek, I guess is the best way to put that. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Is this better? Maybe okay. Sorry, I've never used a mic like this before. Is that better? Okay. So do I need to go through anything I said before? Is it okay. Okay, good. And then Brian Borsa, he's our executive advisor out of a company out of St. Louis, kind of helping us through some of the pitfalls of management and startups and whatnot. And so we believe our business, in order to succeed, should have 3 core values. And number 1 is to keep it simple. Do one thing and do it really well. Focus on that. Try not to do too much. Try not to make it too complex. Just keep it very simple. Number 2, provide a win-win environment for your buyers and sellers. And also try to provide exceptional customer service. And that win-win is important because if any side of the equation is not winning, then you're not going to get the traction that you need. And number 3 is provide a unique experience for golfers of all skill levels. Because as our market is we're golfers and golf retailers. And so there's people going to Topgolf, there's people going to golf courses, there's people just kind of, putting around, things like that. And so we want to be able to provide an experience for each one of those groups of people. Our competitive landscape. This is something that why we went through different iterations, as any company will when it first started out, is, who our target audience is, and who competes in that landscape. And most people know most of the big ones, right? We have eBay, which is not golf-centric, high fees, but they do average 22,000 golf club transactions. Those are actual sales. Those aren't listings. Those are actual sales per month, with an average cost of $138 per transaction. That gives you an idea of the market, and they only have less than 20% of the overall used golf club market. That's just clubs, not accessories. Then there's Facebook, which is localized to a specific region, like how many people here are part of the Facebook swap and shop for Kansas City, things like that, right? And Craigslist, which is kind of a scary place to do business. No offense to Craigslist, but it just is what it is. And then Sideline Swap, which is the closest direct competitor we have, but Sideline Swap is focused on all sports. Their golf footprint is about 1,600 items, while ours is north of 2,200 and growing, about 50 a week. So we're actually larger than they are when it comes to golf. And then we have the core reason we kind of got into business, which is second swing. Traditionally, when people have golf clubs, they have what's called a trade-in program. So they go to Dick's Sporting Goods or a Golf Pro shop and say, yeah, I want those new shiny new clubs. And then they go, okay, yeah, we'll trade them in. We'll give you 8 cents on the dollar. You trade them in, and you take that trade in and you buy the new clubs. Well, while it's great for the pro shop and great for the manufacturer, that's not so great for the end user. And then there's Three Balls, which has another trade-in program. I know, great name, right? And they're a large online reseller. So who's our audience? I alluded to that earlier. Just primarily golfers and golf retailers. And according to the National Golf Foundation, it's male and female golfers between the ages of 18 to 65. Probably older than 65, but I'm just saying that's what they said. 78% of them are male, 22% are female, but the females are the fastest growing segment. 3 out of every 5 new golfers are female. 29 million golfers in the United States as of 2017 played golf at some point during the year, and they expect that to grow to close to 32 million this year. And 90% of them are internet users, so that's a pretty good market to go after. As far as golf retailers, we have golf pro shops. There's 15,372 golf courses in the United States alone. And so pretty much every one of those has a golf pro shop. And then the brick and mortar golf retailers, golf trade show retailers, and then obviously pawn shops will be all good markets for us. And so the value proposition, that goes back to that win-win scenario. To list is free, doesn't cost you anything. We charge 8% plus 30 cents per sales transaction for a PayPal fee if they use PayPal, because PayPal charges us. And put it in perspective, eBay's at 12%, Sideline Swap's at 12%. So we're a little bit lower than they are. And the buyers are not charged. When you buy, you pay whatever the fee is, pretty much the same way eBay or other places work. Our current expenditures today, it shows you kind of our burn rate. We're about $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So our business problem, one of the things that we were told to come to talk to you guys, and I think every business goes through this, is the proverbial chicken and the egg, right? In our type of business, that alludes to we need to find sellers to attract buyers, but we need to try attract buyers to get good sellers, right? And it's a very difficult conundrum to try to solve, especially when you're trying to use social media and how to target that to those particular groups. And that's one of the things that we went through. Our previous iteration, we were kind of an auction shop. And believe it or not, there's, from a buying perspective, there's a psychological difference to how people deal with auctions to direct sales and what your type of markets are, how long they want to have something online, all those kinds of things. Translated to, we decided we didn't want to deal with an auction. So we just kind of made it more of a direct sales, B2C environment. And so our solution was, obviously marketing traffic through social media is a big one, right? Trying to target it on different platforms, testing it out, see how that goes. And then we decided to go, we're bringing on some business development managers, and we're targeting, from a B2B scenario, various pawn shops, larger resellers, larger eBay resellers, things like that, to try to build that inventory, so to speak, to attract the buyers. And we're kind of in that phase right now. And then, hip social media presences. We're actually working on some really funny YouTube videos where people like break clubs and get mad, and somebody goes, "Hey, you want to need new clubs?" kind of thing. And so those are all kind of in the works for the spring. And I'm not sure how much time I have, but so the future of what's next. We're actually working on a whole new platform in the back end. It's one of the reasons we kind of delayed. We were going to present a little bit ago, and that's why he's not sleeping. And that is to, we're working with some PGA professionals to allow for lesson booking on our site, where they can list their services on a calendar system and say, I'm available to give lessons in these slots, and people can book that. There is no central way in the United States as of right now to do that. It's all very ad hoc and very localized, straight to the club, word of mouth, people call the pro shop. We want to change that because at the end of the day, we're trying to build a portal. The more things we can do to drive traffic to the site, to enable people to do things they need to do related to golf, the better they are going to be and the better we're going to be. And then the next step will be tee time reservations at the various golf courses. Again, that's very ad hoc. There are some places doing it very localized. A lot of the golf courses are owned by chains. Like one chain will own 45 golf courses spread out across the US, and then they'll have their system of doing things. And so we're trying to figure out a way to centralize all that. And then the marketing, the YouTube channel I mentioned that we're starting up, and we are sponsoring some tournaments, some holes throughout various tournaments in the Kansas City area, and we're also doing it in the Indianapolis area. And we're looking at putting together a community outreach program for young golfers called No Club Left Behind. And we're also working on a co-marketing deal with Topgolf. I guess I made it to the questions.
All right, we're going to open. Yes, round of applause.
Actually,
I always do that. All right, we're going to open it up to our expert panelists.
A loud voice, too. Tone it down.
you're good. Thank you.
All right, nice job, nice presentation. A couple quick questions for you. So it sounds like one of the advantages is you don't have to do a face-to-face transaction, correct? Like a Craigslist or a face. So is there, if I buy something off the site, I buy some clubs, I get the clubs, I'm not happy with the condition or whatever, what's my recourse or what is your process for dealing with something like that?
We do have a feedback system, and we have a communication system where the admins can get involved to deal with that. We are on the new platform, we're taking that another step, doing something very eBay or PayPal centric as far as a dispute system. But right now, it's something we deal with manually. But it is something that I think from a business platform specific answer is not sustainable or scalable.
All right, what's your mix? I know it's always this problem of having enough buyers for sellers and vice versa. Do you know what your mix is approximately with buyers to sellers right now on the site?
We have, I believe right now it's probably, I'd say 80% sellers and 20% buyers. And I think a lot of that is because of our early marketing, but that's changing pretty rapidly. We're watching some of the demographics. But with the way our current platform is set, the only way to determine that is, number of accounts and which one of those accounts have listed an item, right? If they listed an item, they're considered a seller. If they haven't listed an item, they're considered a buyer. And so that's something that I don't know what the perfect number is on that. My assumption is if we can get it close to like, I'd say maybe 65-35 sellers to buyers, it's going to be a good win-win.
One last thing, just kind of a comment. I mean, content is king. We hear that all the time right now, and it sounds like you guys are getting into that. I would suggest maybe linking some of that back to your website as well. It sounds like you have the YouTube channel up. I would make sure that's definitely linked back to the website.
We have an Instagram, a Twitter, and a Facebook, and we're going to set up our YouTube channel linking back. We've also got 2 blogs that we do on the side that are going to be linking back as well. One's called Invading the Green.
So since you launched, how long has it been?
We did our MVP launch literally like January 4th.
Okay,
Everything else was closed prior.
right. So, so you mentioned you have 80% sellers. So what are the top 3 things you're doing? Because you said your goal is to reach golfers of all skill levels. So what are the top 3 things you're doing to reach those golfers?
Well, right now we're looking at some, like I said, through Topgolf, we'll get a lot of the different demographics because that's a lot of younger demographics go there. Some of the sponsorships, we'll get some of the, at the golf courses when we sponsor a hole, we're going to have people there with a table and an iPad and, hey, you got anything in your bag you want to sell, that kind of thing. So that's going to get kind of the more of the dedicated golfer, right? They're the ones going to the tournaments. And then the casual golfers, I think we're really pushing for social media. That's a good Devin question. I hope you're watching this, Devin, you need to answer that. But that is something that we're still trying to work through completely on how to capture. Right now we're focused on our social media spend and kind of tailoring that. We have three different kind of lanes of that for the 3 different segments. And then we're tailoring that as we go to see what gains us the most traction, what gets most success.
So you have this big imbalance between sellers and buyers, and you have a campaign to get more retailers involved. I'm assuming you're doing this by telling retailers, here's another great option for you to sell your used merchandise, right? So it seems like you're doing a lot on the people who can provide equipment, but it's not clear to me that you have a clear idea of how you can rapidly expand the other side of the equation, the buyers.
Oh, well, the social media spend is primarily for buyers. One of the things we ran into is we focused on kind of a mix, but then we were having, different feedback coming back saying, well, you don't have just a good selection of this, you don't have a good selection of that, or it'd be nice if you had this. And you're always going to get that to some degree, but we realized early on that it might be easier to deal with the kind of the snowball effect. So it'd be easier for us to go after the larger retailers that would need a good avenue to put their things online and build up the inventory and focus all social media on the buyers. And then eventually it's going to reach a critical point where...
Last question, are you getting any pushback from retailers? Because you're kind of moving into their market, aren't you?
Well, I mean, the pro shops, there was definitely a pushback, right? Because, I mean, with the way the current golf course pro shop environment works, if they get inventory and they don't sell it, it immediately goes back to the manufacturer and they send it to a second-hand dealer. And so we don't really have a way to push in there. And that was our first foray. We spent several months trying to figure out that. And so it's definitely pushback from that we're disrupting that market. Most everyone else that we've dealt with some pawn shops, we've dealt with a couple of retailers as we onboard them. The barrier of entry becomes the level of effort, really, because monetarily they have a win. And if, like the new platform, we're building an eBay importer, because that way if we have a large eBay retailer and they have 600 items, the manual cost of re-entering 600 items into a system is prohibitive, right? From their standpoint, they don't know if what's going to sell or whatnot, but if they just have an importer that does the work for them, then for them it's just a second avenue to sell their items. And from a cost perspective, we come out as a win for them. So that's one way we're going to try to build traction into that.
I have just one more last one here. What do you think is your biggest risk in this whole venture?
Oh, that's a good question. Other than failure completely, like anything else, I think our biggest risk is not handling the marketing correctly. At first we thought it might be the platform. We were changing that and trying to do all things, but then we started looking at the layers of complexity and saying we're just making it harder for ourselves. And I think our biggest risk right now is not capturing the market in the way we need to, and then someone else comes along, like Sideline Swap gets their act together on golf or something like that, and we just become kind of a second-rate player in that regard.
All right, we're going to open it up to audience questions. I have one starting in the center here.
Perhaps I was mistaken, but it doesn't sound like you've really identified your client avatar, your target clients. Am I mistaken? But I didn't really see who you said was your target audience other than golfers. I mean, have you really gotten down to the nitty-gritty of identifying who of golfers are really your clients?
Well, pretty much anybody that needs anything golf-related, right? The golfer. I mean, our target audience is pretty much anyone who's played golf, who needs to buy a club or needs to sell a club, or an accessory like a bag or a set of balls or things like that.
I would recommend before you keep spending money on social media that you really get down to something more substantial as far as your customer. Otherwise, you're just going to keep throwing money out. And I did take a look at your social media, and you've actually not been very active on some platforms. And consistency is going to be what it's going to take on that. But to say everyone's your potential client is a little overwhelming, and that doesn't allow you to really focus your time and attention.
I know on social media marketing, we have one tier that targets anyone who has liked like eBay or liked Craigslist or Facebook Swap and Shop and golf, things like that. Devin was working on that. I wish I had a better answer than that, but we're tailoring that as we speak. We did work with a company called Jump 6 Marketing for about 4 months down south, and that didn't get us the results that we needed. So we actually have let them go like 3 weeks ago and started doing it on our own. So if you know somebody that can do social media marketing at that level, we're willing to listen.
We have a question in the middle.
Yes, Lawrence, thank you so much. Great presentation. If I understand it, this is sort of the lower price to eBay and some of the other secondary sellers. Is that acceptable? Okay, so my question is, and I love that you know the stat about women getting into the golf game. So my question is, how does a person, in particular, a new user to golf, know which clubs they should be looking for on your site?
That's a very good question. One of the things we're doing on a new platform is we're putting in buying guides for different people. I identified that women are the fastest growing segment in golf according to the National Golf Foundation. And one of the issues that we hear all the time is women golfers have different needs than men golfers when it comes to apparel, when it comes to accessories and things like that. And it's a completely underserved market, completely underserved. There's actually a brick and mortar here in Kansas City that sells online women's golf apparel, and she's doing very, very well because it's such an underserved market, and she's doing good at what she's doing, obviously. And so we've taken a look at that, like what would be, targeting sellers that would target that particular market. We've also taken a look at like Topgolf, looking at retailers that sell a smaller subset of clubs that would fit the Topgolf market. So, because people are starting to bring their own clubs to Topgolf, but they don't need, an entire set of clubs and a big bag. And so we're looking at things like that to try to grab some of those niches and some of those verticals that kind of tie into our marketing and what we're doing with that.
Question over on your left.
And a tip and a question. The tip, my favorite reseller right now is StockX, the sneaker company. I open their emails every time I get one. They're awesome and their content's great. So I recommend checking it out. Question is, you mentioned a couple of past startups. So what experience did you gain from those that's helping you with this business, and how successful were those experiences?
Okay. The first startup I had was a company called Noxus. It was an application service provider in Austin in '99. And our proof of concept was with a company called Edward Jones and trying to roll out aggregated IT for them. And we did like everybody else. We built a big data center, and we were going through getting everything going. And in 2001, 9/11, all that. That's the reason why that one kind of didn't work out. The market had completely changed. We were ahead of we didn't understand the infrastructure in the market at the time. The last mile wasn't as advanced as it is today, right? And so we had a great product, but we couldn't really deliver it the way we wanted to there. So that was a pretty big lesson to learn, that just because you build it doesn't mean they'll come, and really think things through from a delivery platform. And then the other one was a company called Atomic Internet, and it was basically just a business hosting company, and that went pretty well, but much simpler idea than these two that were here.
Question down front.
Good morning.
Morning.
Congratulations, in about a year plus, you've launched. Wasn't it January 2017?
I'm sorry?
Didn't you launch in January 2017?
Well, we incorporated in May. We've had various launches from 2016, but not
Okay.
publicized.
Okay.
We've been kind of under the radar.
I thought you did a great job on your slides on talking about your market, your competitors, and your finances, how things are flowing. One of the areas I'm wondering if it's a challenge for you is managing the inventory in real time. What do you have in the warehouse? What are you selling and buying? How do you manage that? And are you profitable yet?
Well, we're a marketplace, and so we don't have any inventory to manage. That's the end users that manage all of that. So we do track that. You get an idea of how many, drivers or putters or things like that. Well, we're just a platform that other people can use for that. I mean, we are paying attention to that. The two clubs that sell the most are drivers and putters. So we look at that. If those are things we really try to look for. Typically, most retailers sell kind of the whole gamut of clubs, but those are the two biggest sellers, and so we try to maintain a pretty good ratio of those, if we can.
Another question on your left.
Yeah, I'm an avid golfer. I belong to a club down at Lake of the Ozarks, and I just joined Great Life here in the Kansas City area. So I'm a member of about a dozen different clubs now. But I I'm looking for a specific set of clubs. I'm kind of a cheap ass, and I'm looking for some pings for about $2. So my question is, can I, as a buyer, a potential buyer, can I post what I'm looking for on your site and look for a seller, or have a seller look for me?
No, not as of yet on the current site, but that is a pretty good idea. It's something we've talked about on a new platform. I could put you in contact with someone that might have some pings, but no, we don't have that ability right now at this time.
Question down front.
Good morning. Again, nice slides. As someone who has 4 sets of golf clubs sitting in their basement that are not being used, this is a great opportunity for me. But have you thought about the high schools? As the kids come up and they're buying new clubs, or the junior highs, the golf clubs there, parents maybe not want to spending, all brand new set, and can get something on your site targeting the high schools around here.
That's an excellent idea. Actually, in our May marketing deck that Devin's putting together, he has just that topic. Like at the end of the school year, the clubs might be, the different schools might be liquidating a lot of the clubs, trying to get stuff for the new schools, and so we're taking a look at that. And I think he's based in Indiana, so he's going to be looking at Indianapolis and Fort Wayne school districts there, and do like a pilot program on that.
Good, thank you.
Question way in the back. Oh, yep.
Thank you for your presentation today. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the organization called First Tee. It's a charitable organization that helps promote golf for children. I know you spoke about women as the largest growing segment, but children is going to be the future as long as we continue to get young kids into the game of golf. The organization is really there to promote self-confidence and leadership to the children, and how they can promote that through the game of golf. I'd encourage you to reach out to them. There's a KC chapter called, I think the website's the firsttKC.org.
Do you have a card or something you can give me that I'd be more than happy to reach out to them?
Okay, I'll get you one afterwards.
Okay.
It's a good organization, though, and I think you might be able to find some ways to collaborate with them.
Okay, that's excellent.
All right, and our final question is, what does we as a community do to help you?
That's a good question. We came here to learn from you guys. No man's an island, and we obviously have a ways to go. And I guess just all the feedback you can give us would be most excellent. And whatever we can do to help with anyone else, we're there to do that as well.
Well, thank you. A big round of applause.
All right, we have one live announcement. I have Susanna you want to come up here? The Nonprofit Village.
Hi, I'm with the Nonprofit Village at 31 West 31, and we had a fabulous coverage from Startland News. Last week, we're only 2.5 months old, and today we're having Channel 4 coming. So you are all welcome to join us and arrive by 10:30 at our address, which is 31st Street or 31 West 31st Street, and join us for a day of co-working and possibly be on Channel 4 this evening. So if you have time today, drop on by before 10:30 and enjoy the day with us. Thank you.
All right, we're going to do Mug Club real quick. Raise your hand if you've been here 10 times or more. Okay. Now, keep your hand up if you do not already have a mug. Nobody. All right, let's make this a little bit harder. Raise your hand if you've been here 10 times in a row without missing a single... Nobody? All right. All right, so you guys got to help me. Let's make this interesting. Help, John.
First timer?
Yeah, first timer. Here we go. All right, we got a lot. John's going to pick one at random.
I got some hands. And since you're closest, congratulations. Please tell us your name and why you come to 1 Million Cubs. Sorry to put you on the spot.
My name is Aisha Boma. I'm from Tanzania. I'm with the the IVLP group. And so thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you. Give her a round of applause. All right. Next, I would like to introduce Doug Dressler and the 2018 Sprint Accelerator class. Give him a hand.
Good morning, 1 Million Cups. Not bad. I have the privilege of saying that I work for the Sprint Accelerator, and 2018 is our 5th Accelerator class. We are again, of course, sponsored by Sprint, and we have, come up on stage, guys. Have three companies on the Sprint side that are being sponsored by Sprint's IoT business unit. And we have again partnered with the Dairy Farmers of America this year, which started last year, and we have 6 companies on the DFA side. We have 3 companies that are focusing on agricultural technologies, and this year we've expanded and we've added food products to our class, so we actually have 3 dairy food products in the class. So I will let them all pitch to you. It's going to be a little overwhelming since there are 9 this year, but listen and have any questions you may have or anything that you may be able to do to connect them to resources here in Kansas City would be greatly appreciated. So where are we starting? Right there? All right, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Pergola, and I am the co-founder of Chetty's. My brother and I got tired of eating crackers that use artificial powders to cover up their main ingredient. So rather than waiting around, we took it into our own hands and created a high-protein, low-carb cracker whose main ingredient is cheddar cheese. Chetty's are an all-natural, on-the-go snack that provide essential health benefits. I mean, come on. When was the last time you ate Cheez-Its and got 30 grams of protein with your serving? That's right, 30 grams of protein. Our newest flavors are white cheddar, garlic parmesan, barbecue, and of course, our classic cheddar cheese. Gone are the days where you struggle to find a balance between tasty and healthy. We've strived to transform the indulgent experience into a guilt-free one and have made it okay to accidentally eat the whole bag. At Chetty's, we believe that nutritious can be delicious. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Michael Moran, and I'm the founder and CEO of MoPro Nutrition. MoPro is a high-protein, low-sugar, fresh, probiotic, fitness-focused snack. MoPro is the first Greek yogurt ever to be infused with CFM whey protein isolate, which gives us the highest protein-to-sugar ratio of any yogurt on the market today. We took the best attributes of protein bars and combined it with all-natural yogurt to create a first-of-its-kind, powerful, delicious-tasting, healthy snack. MoPro bridges both the food and supplement markets. High protein, low sugar, the cleanest whey protein, only 6 ingredients, healthy fats, and probiotics. MoPro is the next evolution in the nutrition category. MoPro is more than yogurt.
Hi, my name is Rob, and I am with Sophie Hub. Sophie Hub is a passive monitoring solution for the senior market. It involves a hub that contains artificial intelligence and sensor technology that learns what is normal behavior. Once Sophie learns what's normal behavior in the senior's home, we can turn that upside down and then know what is abnormal. When an anomaly occurs, then we ask the senior, is everything okay? If the senior doesn't respond, then we will then escalate the alert to either a family member or a caregiver to call and say, hey, there might be something wrong. Sophie Hub gives our seniors their independence and their families peace of mind. Thank you.
I'm Richard McCoy, founder of Jarvis, previously known as Lux. We help apartment owners and managers extend their amenity offerings, separate from their competitors, and provide their residents an extended, elevated living experience. We live at a time period now where most have adopted to this convenient push-button lifestyle with services like Uber and Postmates. And we believe in a future where services are integrated directly into the home. And the next generation of apartment renters, they're looking for communities that offer solutions that make their lives easier. So we created Jarvis. Jarvis is an apartment concierge chatbot who helps you take care of time-consuming tasks around your home, so you can easily book and manage services from vetted providers like housekeeping, dry cleaning, and dog walking that are connected to your building. Jarvis condenses all of your services in one place and makes it easy to chat to book and pay, and also integrates with your favorite smart home devices, all in one cohesive conversational experience. We built the first platform for property managers and renters dedicated to digitizing perks and managing connected amenity services. What we're really doing is introducing the $8 billion home service industry to the multifamily industry. No longer are the stainless steel appliances or the granite countertops enough. Apartment marketers have to provide unique amenities to stand out to attract potential renters. And while the next evolution of apartment living is about providing residents an all-inclusive living experience. For apartment owners and operators, Jarvis is easy to implement and requires no upfront investment. For renters, we're integrating into your building and into your home, giving you the one thing you can never get back, your time. Our mission is to help provide a better quality of life for busy people. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marinus Dijkstra, co-founder of Farm Robotics. Today, dairy farmers around the world miss out on $285 a cow a year. Because of manual labor involved in giving millions of shots to dairy cows each year. The biggest problem is the compliance and training of employees to give these shots. On average, dairy farmers miss about 30% of their shots. I'm a dairy farmer myself and have about 20 years of experience in this problem. We milk about 2,500 cows and give 15 shots a cow a year. So that adds up to about 35,000 shots a year. To solve this problem, Farm Robotics has developed a patented system to give injections robotically. By using SureShot, we can save labor and obtain a 100% compliance. In my case, I could receive up to about $700,000 extra a year. The target market is to reach out to 6,000 cows in the US alone. When this target is reached, we like to go around the world and sell this product to everyone else. By using SureShot, dairy farmers are given peace of mind their cows will live longer, healthier lives, and will produce more healthy milk.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Monahan, CEO of Too Cool Chicks. Imagine an ice cream sandwich free of any artificial ingredients, with lower sodium and less sugar, but still has intense flavors that shine through. Too Cool Chicks creates delicious, all-natural ice cream sandwiches. We aim to be the first national brand that creates ice cream products free of stabilizing gums and any artificial ingredients. Our ice cream sandwiches are layered with a soft cookie and the creamiest ice cream. Customer favorites include the Beauty Bar, our lavender and lemon combo, which is very light, bright, and beautiful flavors. We also have I Dream in Chocolate, our chocolate lover's fantasy. Too Cool Chicks aims to grow into a national brand featuring ice cream products for ice cream lovers of all ages. Imagine every ice cream treat you know with cleaner ingredients and pure flavors. That's Too Cool Chicks.
Hi everyone, I'm Bethany, founder and CEO of Soma Detect. Soma Detect is a milk quality and dairy data company. We provide farmers with the information they need to make the best possible milk and optimize the profitability of their farms. Dairy is 10% of the world's protein. It's a $500 billion commodity on the global market, but our farmers are losing out on billions of dollars of potential profits due to quality management issue, disease, low reproductive success. But Soma Detect changes this. By measuring critical compounds in raw milk and monitoring quality, we make it possible to identify sick cows, select treatments that work, and have complete control over the milk that leaves the farm. This helps our farmers optimize every aspect of their activity and gain an additional 15% in profits annually. We do this using a revolutionary optical sensor system combined with the power of deep learning and artificial intelligence. Our system is designed to fit into existing dairy equipment and requires no chemicals or consumables. It provides measurements from every cow at every milking. We're giving farmers the information that they need to optimize their activities in a way that they don't have access to today. Soma Detect is better data for farmers, better milk for consumers, and better lives for cows.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Raja Ramachandran, co-founder of Ripe.io. We're introducing a new innovative technology called blockchain to help create transparency in the food supply chain so you can answer simple questions like, where did my food come from? You know, who grew it? What's the farm that's behind it? Tell me about sustainability. Tell me about, is it safe? And so we're trying to solve a problem today that affects a lot of the food supply chain. Lack of trust. You don't trust your brands. The business-to-business end of it have contracts that are very restrictive. And so the problem is hundreds of billions of dollars. And it manifests in things like, you probably heard 200 million eggs are affected, E. coli is out there, and so on. So you want to figure out, how do you get safety in your food? You want to figure out, is the food meant for you nutritionally? It fits your family. So what we do is we provide the data capture so that we take in the information from farms, from distributors, packing houses, producers, into one record. That record then is transformed into analytics, views from the business-to-business side, and then ultimately gets displaced back to you as a level so that you'll have a level of confidence in what you do. So we serve business-to-business as a platform, and they actually will go ahead and showcase to you what the transparency and the logic and the sequence about what that quality of food is. So we're developing a new food quality network. And we're currently working with dairy farmers. We have access to an Australian market about red meats into China. We're working with large brands and grocery stores throughout the country. So you'll hear a little bit more about us, and thank you.
Hi, my name's TJ Tavares. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer with Keybot. Residential property managers today waste a tremendous amount of time in their cars traveling from property to property, especially when they turn over those properties, letting contractors in, and even spending $150 rekeying a lock when a new tenant moves in. This problem is made even worse in scattered sites where you're in a large geographic area, or even worse when you're in California, for instance, and you have to sit in traffic too. Keybot solves this problem with a smart lock and an app. So we replace keys with your phone. We've got a patented access management system that makes it easy enough to rekey the lock yourself, so you don't have to spend that $150 anymore rekeying a lock on turnover. And we'll verify identification to people coming into the property so that we know who's accessing it, and you can do it from the convenience of your office. We've identified a huge white space in this 56 million door marketplace, and we already have 26,000 units on pre-sales order. We're currently in 3 tech accelerators at the same time. We're in Techstars London. We're in AppWorks in Taipei, which is where we're doing our manufacturing, and we're here at the Sprint Accelerator. But we need your help. I could use, if there's anyone in the audience that knows a large property management firm or someone that recognizes the problem that we solve, which is really replacing your keys with a phone. And oh, by the way, you don't need Wi-Fi access to do it. We can do it all through Bluetooth. So if you know anyone that is having that problem, I'd love to make an introduction following this and tell you a little bit more about Keybot, smart rental access. Thank you.
All right, we are going to go ahead and open it up to expert questions.
So it's going to be hard to ask 9 questions and a follow-up and leave any time for anybody else. So I'm just going to pick a few here. So Soma, are you talking to farm robotics at all?
Absolutely we are, yes.
And what's the outcome? Is anything happening?
Yeah, so I mean, through the Sprint Accelerator, we have time together to, so we've done a few things with Marinus. Our desks are one right after the other. So he's really helped us take a look at some of our numbers. Just the other day, I was asking him what the return on investment might be for his farm. We're also talking about having him as an early adopter, although he's a little bit outside of our target geographic region at the moment. But I think Marinus could very likely be our first Californian customer. We also see some really good symbiotic relationship that can happen through the two companies. I think this is probably what you're thinking about, yeah. Because he, of course, has a high-tech solution that that in fact is very complementary to what we're doing. So that is definitely something that through the Accelerator, we've become pretty good friends and is absolutely part of our conversation.
So, farm robotics, I'm sorry, I got to refer to you by your company names because I don't remember most of your names. But how do you give a cow a bunch of shots robotically? Do you attach an injection syringe to the cow?
So on the way out from the milking parlor, on the exit lanes, we're going to install a so-called trapping system that on the way in reads the RFID. If it then in turn needs a shot, it's going to trap it. And then a robotic arm with a 3D camera system finds the right spot, which is always in a neck. It has about, let's say a 6 by 6 inch area where you can give it to. Gives a shot right there and then lets it go again. If the cow doesn't need it, it just flows through so it doesn't hold up the milking parlor.
Okay, so the next one, I don't know if we need a microphone, but Chetty's, MoPro, and Two Cool Chicks, did you bring samples?
Very good. Yes, demo day, June 5th, World War I Museum, and we will have samples of all three products and breakfast.
Okay, I'm going to stop monopolizing and hand it over.
All right, so great job, all of you. You've got some fantastic ideas here. I'm curious, so Sophie Hub, curious a little bit more about what exactly you're monitoring as far as behaviors go, and this is obviously for the senior market, but I'm curious just to hear a little bit more about your.
Sure. Thank you for asking. Sophie Hub was founded in Australia. I just joined the team a few months ago to roll out the U.S. And what we found is we work with a university in Australia, and we found through many, many years of research, the elderly reject technology, but the elderly's perception of risk at home is very, very low. But our families and the caregivers, their assumption of risk is very, very high. And so what Sophie does is through movement, it detects what time you get up, what time you go to bed, what time you go to the bathroom, how long you're in the bathroom, when do you go to the kitchen, when do you take your medication, so on and so forth, and it develops a pattern. And with artificial intelligence, it allows that pattern to alter, right? Because maybe in the winter you might sleep a little later, go to bed a little earlier. So it basically is a passive monitoring. In addition to the actual monitoring of behavior, it will give you morning alerts. It'll let you know if it's going to be cold outside, reminds you to wear a coat. It reminds you of people's birthdays. You can connect it with Google Calendar, various things like that. So family can connect to it, to text messages. But Sophie actually speaks. And due to our trials, we have several hundred going in Australia currently. And what we found is whenever we remove the hub, the seniors are lonely. They get used to that voice speaking with them throughout the day. And then secondly, not to take too much time, secondly, we've actually ventured into the market of traumatic brain injury, Alzheimer's study. We've received a large grant in Australia, PTSD, to where it provides constant reminders, like if you're in the bathroom, it will remind you on a certain day to take a shower, or simply is to flush the stool, things like that. So, but right now we're mainly working in the senior market to provide that passive oversight to where they don't have to wear the lanyards and the watches that seemingly are ineffective most of the time. So.
Great, thank you. And then quick question for Ripe.io. Just about as far away as possible, I guess, to pass the mic down. Tell me a little bit about the revenue model. Is revenue coming from which side is it coming from, and what does that look like? And I don't know exactly where you are in stages either, so that's maybe a premature question.
Yeah, so we're we've had about 3 or 4 pilots last year, and so typically it's driven by demand or buyers. So whether it's restaurants, grocery stores, or even co-ops that have a lot of data. And so our model initially is sort of software as a service and a license, But overall, what we're finding is that we can actually charge for transactional activity. In other words, every time there's a successful blockchain record, what happens is we charge on a per unit basis or per pound. And so we've got a company that manages the freshness and ripeness of over 95% of the apples sold in the United States. Another one is an entity that owns 30% of the output of peaches. We're working with Dairy Farmers of America, which is 34% of milk produce. And so we're kind of going category by category, and we're able to like lock in these pricings at the per pound unit.
Okay, we're going to open it up to the audience.
Got a question.
Question in the center.
I want to follow up while you've got the mic there. I love the space. The trust is a huge thing with supply chain. I know there are other competitors out there, Walton, V-Chain. Are you producing the sensors yourself to track all the goods? And then how are you differentiating yourself from those like big players?
You mean like IBM?
Yeah, IBM. I mean, there's a lot in the supply chain trust space. Walton is a coin that's come out. V-Chain is another one that tracks.
Agreed. So there's definitely a number of tokenized, chains. And I come from sort of the financial trading world, and I was with a consortium of banks. There's over 100 of them called R3. I've seen every single platform that you can imagine. Tokenization ultimately creates new fiat. It's just like another currency. So in that sense, why would you take a Walton chain, and a token to somehow try and spend it on seafood or coffee grains or whatever, right? So the issue there is they tend to be very singular purpose with no liquidity beyond that. So what we do is, ours are all permission ledgers. We take a look at, managing more business-related sort of solutions around analytics, around information gathering, transporting information to content systems, and really understanding the entirety of the data and the activity that's there. So we create a full record. So for example, we did tomatoes last year, and for a restaurant called Sweet Green. So we have over 260 data points on a tomato. It's not easy to tell a consumer what it is, but what it did is that we tracked all the information so you can figure out what makes a great tasting tomato. And so in that sense, sensors are part of the solution. That's not necessary. It's all about data gathering and the technology behind that.
All right, I've got a question back here in the back.
My question's for Keybot. So is Keybot supposed to be a replacement for a regular key or just an option?
That's a great question. So in our trials, what we found is that replacing a key completely right now, the world isn't really ready for it yet. So even in our design, what we're doing is we're offering other options. For instance, we've got a keypad across the top of the lock, and we'll pass an access code through just a regular text. We've also hidden the keyhole, so in the design. So we want you to eventually get rid of the keys, but we recognize that it's pretty early to be able to do that. And then there's the second level of ID verification. So if you think forward to this notion of a keyless world and being able to let people into some place that you might be 500 miles away, there still needs to be some type of verification, right? So are you who you say you are, and should I be letting you in right now? If you're a renter that wants to see a place in Tampa and you're in Kansas City, you want to be able to recognize, all right, send me your ID or whatever. So there's, in a keyless world, there's a lot of iterations that need to take place. The way that we're solving that by data, we recognize right now that not everyone is using the Bluetooth app to access it, but the people who are purchasing our product or who have pre-ordered our product absolutely recognize that is something that is, the key exchange, and the notion of having physical keys versus virtual keys is a huge value add for them. But yeah, great question.
And also, have you thought about something, not necessarily an extra thing, but something not attached to the phone? Because sometimes, like, my phone's dead by the time I get home.
Yeah.
And if that's my key, then I can't get into my apartment, so like.
Yeah, so we've talked about fobs. We do have access to that because we use Bluetooth for that access. In some states, you're required to have a physical key anyway, so we're not going to completely get around that. So yes, there are definitely, it's an iterative process, obviously. But for the problem that we solve for our customer today, keys are irrelevant. You know, the whole keys are irrelevant, and Wi-Fi access is, like, you shouldn't have to be at a connected community in order to use a smart lock. So we're proof of that you know, you don't need that. So, yep.
We have a question in the front.
For Chuddies and Two Cool Chicks, I checked on your website and I love that you have the nutritional value already set up. I do Weight Watchers, and finding things that are all natural, that don't have chemicals, that, you know, because they're always like, oh, the low point stuff, and half the time it has crap in it. So I would just say, if you're looking into different markets, think about those areas, because when I looked at yours, I was like, ooh, for a whole serving, I mean, 45 crackers for a snack is like great. And it's super low point. So, and especially for desserts, it's so hard to find something that's not Cool Whip. So.
Yeah, our sandwiches have 210 calories for 2 flavors and 240 calories for the other 2 flavors.
In the center.
This might be the most important question. Where do I find some of your ice cream sandwiches?
So you can Michael and I went to Cosentino's last night and talked to the buyer there. So hopefully coming to a store near you. But right now we are based in Manhattan, and we're in about 20 stores throughout the city and Connecticut, and we'll be launching with Whole Foods any day now. Soon. And June 5th, too. Come again.
All right. I think we have one more question right here. Do we have another question?
Y'all did a good job. My question is, a lot of y'all could combine y'all towns together, at least 3 or 4 of y'all. The guy who's doing the apartment and the guy doing the keychain, y'all can join each other, kind of help each other out. I can't put in words to broaden your business. The guy who's doing the testing for the cows, and the lady who's doing the data information, y'all two can join each other too to help each other out, kind of combine onto one research. Old man before right now, my mind can't remember right now, but that's basically I can say it right now.
Yeah, I want to address that. So just as far as the collaboration between teams, that's a really good point, and a super powerful way of leveraging our accelerator. So we've become friends. Richard and I have talked about those types of things. There's all kinds of collaboration, you know, within the Sprint Accelerator. So yeah, that's a really good point, and it's something that you know, I'm absolutely excited about, and a value add for the Sprint Accelerator. So yeah, great point.
Okay, we have a final question. What can we as a community do for you?
Well, I want to push those 26,000 pre-orders to about 50. So, you know, if you've got some residential units that are in scattered sites, or that you want to save half of your money on operating expense with access-related problems or costs, I want to talk to you. So that's how you can help me.
The group would say the same thing as TJ. Open up your digital Rolodexes and connect these people to who you think might be able to help them. It may not be you, but you probably know somebody in any of these fields, from dairy farms to distribution and grocery stores to apartment leasing. I mean, we all are connected, so the main reason we like to bring them here is so that they can connect with you. You have another opportunity this evening at 5:30. We are opening up the Sprint Accelerator, and the companies will be there. We will have food and drink, and then Dairy Farmers of America has also provided us an ice cream sundae bar. So there will be more networking as well tonight. So tell your friends, and please join us for that as well.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a hand. Okay. Please come out next week when we'll have North Pass Immersive and Bell Fan. And thank you guys for coming. Keep coming back. Thank you.